Kiddos, thank you so much for checking back in on me today. I have a collaboration video with April and Fam, or April Leighann. We have decided to collaborate on videos of recreating a family favorite. My mother's family favorite that I loved more than anything was country fried steak. And so I'm going to recreate that today. She would pair that with white rice, but I'm not really a fan of white rice, so I'm going to create faux wild rice as well as gravy. Sawmill, I believe, is what the older people used to call it. So I'm going to try to recreate that as well. So please stick around and see those videos. Now, if you have not checked out April and Fam, you should really go by and check out her channel. Recently, she had put her transformation in pictures and has posted that video. It really showcases your transformation, April, and I wished I had taken pictures like that so I could look back on my journey. But I avoided the camera at all costs. So anyway, next is video. Thank you. So here is just a quick shot of all the ingredients that I used. Broke open these farm fresh eggs and mixed that heavy whipping cream in them till they were real nice and fluffy, mixed well. Bright yellow, you couldn't see the separate of the eggs. So then crushing the pork rinds in a separate container, crush those well, pick out all the lumps. You want it really light and fluffy, so when you press down the steak or whatever you're frying in, that it covers evenly. So the dry breading is a 1/4 cup of almond flour. Here I'm just trying to get some of those lumps out. Put salt and pepper, garlic salt, and xanthan gum, about a teaspoon of xanthan gum. And you want to mix all of that well so it spreads evenly on whatever you're frying. Today, the cube steak. I added a 1/8 of a cup of Parmesan cheese to that mixture as well. It's not enough to taste, but again, it comes out the texture that I was looking for, the thick breading. Again, just mixing that all where the lumps are gone. Here I'm just preparing the 3 plates. I want a dredge plate with the egg mixture only. The second is going to be that breading mixture, and the third is the pork rinds before you put it in the pan. There are my cube steaks. I got those last grocery haul at Kroger. So again, dredging, then breading, and then pork rinds before frying. I use a cast iron skillet to fry with. This container of grease is bacon grease render. I don't strain mine. I see a lot of people who strain theirs. To me, it just is more flavoring. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably 2 tablespoons. And I did do 2 steaks in the same pan. So then you want to turn on your cast iron skillet or whatever skillet you may be using and get that nice and hot before you put it on. Here I'm checking to see if it has fried enough to turn, and it has, so I went ahead and flipped it, relocating the grease so that it's underneath the steak itself. This is a light color here, but I'm not done. Crisscrossing there is to let the juices flow out, and then when I turn it again, those juices will run in the pan and not into the breading. That's just a little trick that I use. I believe my great-grandmother showed me that at one time or another. But so you can see here that I have the pan in a high heat this second flip so that it browns the breading itself. The steak itself, it's not running, so it is done at this point. I like it a little bit more brown than even that I'm showing you here, but I wanted you to get a real good picture, so I didn't do it like I would have ate it. So next is going to be the gravy. This is just the pan drippings into another pan. I don't like to put water mixtures in my cast iron. So that's just the render there. I added a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. Now next time I would have used less flour. I believe I used a little bit too much flour. So a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of the xanthan gum. black pepper and salt. I added a lot more black pepper to that, trying to cover over that coconut flour mixture taste. Um, I will tweak this recipe just so that you know it tasted great, it poured great, the thickness was great, but the texture was still a little off. I think I had too much flour. So, but I did taste it. It was tasty. I might play around with some of the spices next time as well. So then on the faux rice, this is going to be a whole bag of the organic chopped cauliflower, and then I used Trilogy seeds there to put in at the last minute. I boiled the rice till it wasn't complete. Oh, sorry, not rice. I boiled the cauliflower until it was almost tender enough to squish with the fork. Not quite. It still had a little bite left in it. So here are the plated meal, and I'm going to pour that gravy so you can see that it pours real nice and thick like gravy should be. But so it just gives it enough crunch to where it's a wild rice flavor. The crunch in the wild rice. I really enjoyed it, and I really hope that you enjoy it. If you have a family favorite that you would like to recreate, leave that in the comments and maybe we can make that a different video, because this was fun. Bon appetit. Keto on and keto strong, everybody. TGIF.